Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. Now, super exciting stuff to talk about today. Massive had a live stream earlier where they spoke about the April 1.1 update, which will be coming to the Division completely free on April the 12th. And this update will include the first ever brand new incursion. It'll include gear sets, loot trading, new high-end weapons, assignments, supply drops, and even a spectator camera. All that stuff was discussed in the live stream, but in the event that you missed it, I'm going to give you a rundown in this video of everything you need to know. All in one place, so if you guys do find this helpful and you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and comment down below and let me know what you think, or how excited you are, because I am pretty hyped. Also, apologies, this is a little bit late. I was actually flying back from Sweden today, so I've literally just got home, edited the video, so yeah, it's a little bit delayed, but either way, this is everything you need to know. So let's start with incursions. The incursion coming in the April update is called Falcon Lost. Some of you guys may have already seen that the icon exists in-game right now and has done since launch. It basically shows up in the bottom right hand corner of the map once you hit level 30, and it's the first ultra difficult end-game activity that we're going to be able to experience. If you think challenge mode is hard, then incursions are going to be hell, but in a good way. Incursions are designed to be really tough, and they're designed to be completed by good groups, with good gear, and good strategy and synergy. It's not the sort of activity that you just party up randomly like challenge mode and kind of cobble your way through. If you really want to complete an incursion, you will need a team, some good gear, and a good strategy. However, that being said, incursions do still have matchmaking. So for those of you without pre-made teams, you can still find people to play with, but the guys did emphasize just how important it's going to be to have good teamwork. Also, the guys at Massive were keen to keep some of the harder mechanics a secret, so of course we have stuff to surprise us and stuff to work out. But the footage you're seeing in the background is of the Falcon Lost incursion. But the question is, why should you care about incursions? Well, the answer, aside from the challenge, is that they will be a source of gear and weapons that are better than that which you can get right now. Incursions come in two difficulties, hard and challenge. In order to do the hard challenge, they recommend that you have all level 31 items right now, and if the notion of level 31 items is new to you, if you inspect a piece of endgame gear, be that superior or high-end, and you scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see that it has an item level. In the April update, that's actually going to be replaced with gear score, but for the time being, if you're trying to prep for the incursion coming in 2 weeks' time, you're really going to want to grab level 31 gear pieces in all slots. However, that being said, as a super quick reminder, do not craft a high-end backpack right now. There is an ongoing bug. It is an issue where it can lock you out of your game. I have spoken to the guys at Massive about this and they are working on a fix. Haven't got an actual date just yet, but either way, if you guys have missed that, don't go crafting backpacks right now. Find them, that's fine, but do not craft a high-end backpack. Anyway, I digress. Level 31 gear pieces will see you through hard mode, but if you want to do challenge mode, you are going to want to try and piece together one of the new gear sets, which I'll talk about shortly. It's also worth noting that the hard mode incursion has a recommended gear score, meaning you should aim for that if you want to be in with a chance of completing it, but the challenge mode has a gear score requirement, meaning you won't physically be able to do it unless you hit that score. And matchmaking also takes this into account, so you won't be match made with someone that isn't capable of doing challenge mode. If you do complete an incursion, however, as mentioned, you will get some pretty sweet loot. New weapons, new gear, some of the gear set pieces, and it's also worth mentioning that you can do an incursion as often as you like. The first time you do an incursion in a week, you will get a special weekly reward. However, every time you complete one as a standalone instance activity, you will also get a reward. Kind of like how you get a post-mission reward when you do challenge mode right now, you'll get something like that, and it'll be good, but the weekly reward will be the best. However, that's also weekly per character, so if you have 4 characters, at level 30, capable of doing challenge mode, that is a potential of 4 weekly rewards. Also, I mentioned that incursions are designed to be hard. Well, they also don't have checkpoints, and if your team wipes, you have to start the entire activity all over again. So yeah, this is not for the faint-hearted. And one final note, for the observant ones out there, you might have spotted this, a new drone enemy that'll be showing up in incursions, which I can already tell is going to be a massive pain in the backside. It's like trying to kill bats in Zelda. Flying enemies are the worst. Anyway, that's what you need to know about incursions, but now let's talk about gear sets. The Monster Hunter or the ex-World of Warcraft player in me is super excited about this one. In the April update, there will be 4 new sets of gear added, and these are referred to as gear sets. They're green in colour, or at least in your inventory, and they are special because if you equip at least 4 pieces of armour from that set, you will unlock a special and very powerful talent that is unique to that armour set and cannot be obtained elsewhere. Plus the gear will also have set bonuses too, so there's an incentive to collecting the whole set. There are 4 in total, and each one suits a different role or playstyle. Sentry's Call is a set aimed at Marksman players out there. It promotes precision and will have skills to match. Tactician's Authority is for the support players, and it's focused more on electronics and skill power, so for the healers or the CC players out there, this is for you. And you then have Striker's Battle Gear, and this is for the Combat Assault players. However, the fourth set, Path of the Nomad, is for the players that like to spend their time in the Dark Zone. Now, we didn't actually get to find out what the special talents were today. For that, we'll have to wait until the podcast, which is coming soon, but it's safe to say that these sets are powerful. However, it's worth noting that with the addition of this new armour, that does not make the current high-end gear obsolete. See, while the gear sets have got special talents and they have special bonuses, what they don't have are individual armour talents or bonuses that you usually find on high-end gear. So the trade-off is that if you want to go for a very focused set that complements a playstyle, that's fine, but throwing high-end pieces into the equation will give you a broader set of bonuses. So depending on what you're trying to go for, high-end endgame armor pieces will of course give you much broader variety, whereas gear sets will allow you to spec in a very specific way. But the killer question is, where do you get these gear sets from? And the answer is not just Incursions. Yes, Incursions will drop some of the set pieces, however, in order to complete a set, it won't just be a case of playing the Incursion over and over again until it's done. Some pieces come from Incursions, some come from blueprints, some come from challenge mode, and some pieces will come from a few other places as well. They didn't actually list them, but they did say we'd have to go looking. However, the Path of the Nomad or the Dark Zone focus set will predominantly come from the Dark Zone. So again, these new sets aren't going to suddenly force you to do one single activity and nothing else. There will be plenty of sources and you'll need to hit all of them in order to complete a set. Also, as mentioned, that once you hit a level 30, all of your level 30 gear will instead display gear score, and when you're in Incursions and you're in a party, players' gear score will be displayed instead of their level, because that's ultimately the more valuable stat. And gear score is calculated as an average based on the gear you have. Plus, it also factors in gear that you have in your inventory, not just what you have equipped, so you can't, say, have a player that just throws on crappy gear to make themselves look low level, because the system will account for what items you have in your inventory. Now, moving on a bit from gear, taking a super quick stop at weapons. While we didn't get any real details on weapon specifics, what we did get is confirmation that there will be new named high-end weapons coming in this update, and new high-end blueprints too. To anyone that's seen the data-mined high-end weapon list pre-launch, you'll likely have heard of the likes of the Historian or Valkyria, etc. Obviously, we don't know if these are coming in this update, but we do know that there will be more stuff to get. Although I do have a sneaky suspicion that this might be the Historian. The Historian is said to be a named high-end Marksman rifle, and this looks remarkably like a Marksman rifle, and it looks like that'll suit the name too. Anyway, speculation aside, the next topic of conversation was loot trading. Yes, it's officially coming in the April update, and the way it works is as follows. Let's say you're in a group and an item drops that you don't need, but your teammate really wants it. As of the April update, you will be able to drop the items for them to pick up. However, there are a couple of conditions. Firstly, the trading window is about 2 hours, so if you want to trade, you'll need to do it within that time frame, otherwise the item will be locked as yours forever. Also, you can only trade with people in your team, and if you're outside the Dark Zone, you can just simply drop the item where you stand. But if you're inside the Dark Zone, then you'll need to go to a checkpoint in order to trade. That's to kind of avoid you having to kind of drop it on the floor, and then some kind of like PvP situation comes through where people kill you and then take your stuff. Plus, it's also worth noting that when you do drop an item, it's open season for anyone in your party. So if, say, for example, you match made and you have like a random player in your party, you do still want to watch out for, say, loot ninjas that might just run past and grab it if you weren't intending to give it to them. Now, moving on from there, we have assignments, and assignments are sort of like bounties. We got a sample of these during the beta to a certain extent, but basically, assignments come in both daily and weekly formats. These will be things that you'll need to complete by doing a number of different things. It could be, say, killing a number of cleaners or Arekkz, or crafting a number of items, or doing some sort of activity in the Dark Zone. Daily assignments are bite-sized and can be done quickly, whereas weekly assignments will take time and are designed to be done over the course of the week. But completing an assignment will reward you with some good rewards, as well as Phoenix credits and Division Tech. It's also worth mentioning there are changes coming to Division Tech. Again, we don't know what they are just yet, but that will be disclosed very soon. Following on from that, we have supply drops, and this is something that is going to be super fun for the Dark Zone players out there. The team said that every time they release a new update, they're also going to be adding stuff to the Dark Zone, and supply drops are the first new addition. A supply drop is basically a crate that drops into a random location in the Dark Zone roughly every hour, and the crate contains some seriously good loot. However, in a similar way to how Dark Zone chests work, the first team to open the supply drop gets the rewards, and if you arrive there late and it's been taken, then you'll need to wait till the next one. However, it's not as simple as just turning up and grabbing from the box. Supply drops will be defended by high level enemies, and of course other players will be wanting it too, so expect people to go rogue and fights to break out while people are fighting over the loot. That being said, because the supply crate was dropped in from outside, it's also not considered contaminated loot. So the second you get the loot, it's yours. It doesn't need to be extracted, it won't go in your yellow bag, and therefore it means it cannot be stolen. So really it's just a race to the location, a race to take out the enemies, so that you can then loot it before someone else does. But given that they will spawn in random locations, it does of course mean that it will send people running around the dark zone, which should create some pretty awesome encounters. And finally, before I wrap this video up, spectator camera. If you die in the game right now, your camera is focused on your body and nothing else. But in the April update, a spectator camera is being added so that when you die, you can hop between your teammates. And of course that will be especially useful in, say, incursions, because if you go down, you can then look around on your teammates, maybe tell them what's going on behind them, and give them some tips until they get you back up. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. That is what we have in store for us in the April update. I am genuinely super excited. There is loads of awesome stuff coming, and the inclusion of gear sets gives me some new stuff to collect, so I genuinely cannot wait for this. And I also can't wait for the challenge that incursions are going to present. Again, as a reminder, this comes out on April 12th, so that's less than 2 weeks away now. And if you guys did enjoy the video, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.